What's going on, y'all? Another week, another geek. Today we are back at it again with another episode of the Why I'm Geek show with me, your boy G, and the homie ChrisyLite. What's good, Chris? How you feeling today, Brody?
Feeling really good. I can't believe Secession's over, bro. Like,
No,
what's the next HBO? Not even HBO. What's the
Max.
next Max show to watch, or any that I've been missing out on, or hopefully something's coming up. But
Yeah,
another major show is done.
crazy, crazy. So yeah, if y'all haven't been watching Succession, bro, this is the perfect time to do it because, like Chris just said, it's over. And it was a really good show. It's a really good show. So we've talked about Succession here and there on the show. This is episode 97. I don't know if I said that already. But make sure you like and subscribe. I always wait to the end to say that, but definitely do that. But yeah, today we're gonna be talking about Succession finale because that joint not only went crazy, but it left me feeling like a little somber, like I was just like, it's not the usual high you end off in like a long running show. It's kind of more of a like, dang, happened. That's kind of how I was feeling. So how was you feeling after watching the finale, Chris?
Oh man, to be honest, I kind of felt like throughout this series and leading to the finale, it ended exactly the same how it always happens. Like there's
Mm,
someone that messes up the deal, someone like it looks all good, and then someone's gonna mess it up,
mm,
and it makes you leave the entire series like did they mess up the deal again? Like, like oh man, like they you gotta get on one track, and throughout the series, it's like oh we're now united, and then the deal gets messed up somehow. Oh, we're united, and then the deal gets messed up, and I'm like, oh, they're about to do this again, huh? Everything looks good. They're portraying everything looking good. Someone messes up the deal, and we get this end that's just kind of like, wow, what they messed it up. Here are the new people in the right positions. The main characters are all kind of left on some drink at the bar moment. Like,
mm.
dang, that's it.
I mean, yeah, I agree. The quote unquote gameplay loop for this joint is pretty much the same throughout. But question is though, like it really just depends on your perspective. You know what I'm saying? Because technically they did the deal. It's just not what they really wanted. I mean, um, they got the bread, but they were kind of just like left to their own devices, which was initially the plan. So, um,
I mean, it
personally,
it was their dad's plan, not theirs.
well,
The dad
the
wanted to sell
dad
sell the Gojo.
the dad wanted to sell a Gojo but keep ATN.
True, true, true.
But the kids was like, "Oh, we're gonna sell high, and then we're gonna um buy what is that place? The it start with a P. Um, it's not Pegasus. It's something the P. It's another network.
Yeah,
The other
the other
network.
one that their dad loved.
Right, right. And they were gonna put in for that and run that as like their new age, new ideas, but it'd be something that they do, you know? And that was their plan all before, Logan Roy passed away. So that changes things when it comes to like how do you really feel about the ending because like technically they did what they were supposed to do, you know?
No, bro. They wanted to keep ATN. Like they were being greedy. They wanted to do exactly like their dad wanted to get rid of the company and everyone go up their separate ways and be fine. But the kids were like, no, like one of us is gonna keep it, and they felt bad that
Yeah.
everything their dad worked for is now gonna be gone. And they were like, "Oh, we're gonna mess up our own deal, us
Mm-hmm.
selling.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're on purpose gonna mess up our own deal." And
Yep.
at first, they wanted it to be through the election, like, oh, it get blocked. And then the other one was like, oh, if they blocked the deal, then we didn't mess up our own deal. But Shiv was like, oh, if we go with these people, they're not gonna block the deal, and it's gonna get sold to Matson.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like at the end they went with, if we're all on the same side, we ourselves will block our own deal and say it's just a bad deal. We're gonna keep ATN. We're gonna do a different route than selling off. But the whole
Right.
board liked it. Like the
Right.
whole board was like, it's good, a good price. It'll help us in the future.
Mm-hmm.
But they know if they give it up, like this guy is the one who runs the show.
Yeah. But
And
the
it's like, go ahead.
yeah, but runs it in a backseat kind of way, technically, because
Yeah, but
the
none of them
front
would be
man,
CEO.
yes, but Shiv would be the wife of the CEO, which
Yeah,
was
that's
Tom.
why they want to mess up the deal. That's why they want to mess up their own deal.
Well, okay. So let's take a few steps,
Yeah.
right? Because from my perspective, the there was two separate sides initially in this episode, right? You have Roman and you have Kendall, who want to mess up the deal so that one of them two could run the company after the fact and just
Yeah.
run the table up, right? Because initially, when their father was alive, they were trying to sell to get the bread so that they thing. But once that happened, as soon as they got a little bit of that power, they realized like, nah, we could really run this thing, you know.
Exactly.
And the only way to sell it would not to be have co-CEOs, but have one, you know. And Shiv was on the opposite end of like, dang, we were supposed to do this thing together, but yet I'm still getting the butt end of the stick because obvious reasons. Like she's one, like she's pregnant. Two, like she never really had a substantial role in the actual company. So like as far as optics look and what the quote unquote market would play, she wouldn't be a good fit initially. Um, if like they're doing this thing together. So she had to run the play from Matson's side, which
Yeah.
would be for her to like, you know, get all his ducks in a row essentially so that she could be the US representative for the company, aka the CEO, the front man. And Matson didn't like none of that and just flipped it all on his head, and that's why we got Tom in the end. But what I'm kind of just posing to you is just like the question of like, because we got you know, three different endings. Roman ended at the bar, Kendall ended it at the water, and Shiv ended it holding hands with Tom
Mm-hmm.
or palms, right? Which was kind of like for me, the symbolic, what's the word?
Symbolic.
Symbolic representation of the succession, which was if her father passes away, neither of the sons get it, but the sister, because she married somebody else, technically can get it. You know, even though
All right.
Tom
I mean, that
is,
sounds good.
you know, like that's kind of why I feel like Shiv won because it was down to her vote and she made the play for her family because that's what matters. Her family, her future family, you know? So that's kind of how I'm looking at it at this
Okay.
point. But do you feel like that's like how do you feel about that? I guess.
I mean, I like that version. I mean, that sounds good. But I just the main thing from what you said that makes a lot of sense is just the fact that she called Tom earlier and was kind of like open to like getting back together or
Yeah.
having a family. But Tom was really like no. But in that same episode, Shiv also called him like a suit when she found out that he was the CEO. Like he was gonna
Mhm.
be the one that was plotting. So to me, Shiv's whole like thing is Shiv and Tom's whole thing is Tom has always said like, "What about me? What about me?" Like the whole series,
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I thought I'm gonna be running it." And Shiv really
Hmm.
doesn't care about Tom actually running it. So when Tom makes the maneuver and he's actually gonna take the throne in a way,
Yeah.
like she's not happy for Tom. Like
Right.
she's so
But
like
that's her only
I
play though.
but her play could have been just keep it with the family. All three of us, you know, out of us, if we can't keep it, then we'll just give it to you. Like they always could have sold the company. You see what I'm saying? Like that was
Yes.
always the original plan, but they want to keep the company because their dad's now gone. Like she has no way of being the CEO of ATN. She has no position in ATN.
Well, it's not just ATN. It's the whole. It was
Waystar,
the
yeah,
whole thing. Waystar. You know, since
yeah. So
ATN is just a part of it, but like cruises, all of that stuff, and it encompasses it because Gojo is more so like just like a tech company, and then you mix tech company with old media, and that's where you get the juggernaut that Mattson was trying to create. Because one thing that was interesting to me, of like just how ruthless the show can be as far as deal making, because we've always seen that from a inner sanctum or inner um, party, like of the cast of like the people that are related from you know how seeing how everybody moves within each deal and how they ended up ruining it and such and such. But Madsen didn't really care about none of that. He offered it just like Logan does. He offered it to Shiv, and then basically backstabbed her after she did all the work to make sure
mhm,
that the deal would go through.
yeah,
And she was making it look like it was going to be more of a partnership thing, which is something that Logan would have more pull in that direction because it's his company versus I don't know a better way of putting it, but the Three Stooges essentially, um, of Shiv, Roman, and Kendall. So it's just like it's a world of sharks, and
I mean,
Matson had
I
to just be the bigger one. Happened to just be the bigger one this time.
I definitely think Matson just originally had Shiv as like a good. She'd be a solid partner to take once he takes over to know what it is, but he realized that he didn't need
Yeah,
uh the branding anymore. He didn't need
the name.
oh she was potentially the name. He just realized, wow, it doesn't really help me.
Hmm.
I'll be fine without it. And who would I need? I need someone. I think he said in the episode. I just need someone uh to pretty much do all the stuff and be a talking head. I don't need someone with
Yeah,
more ideas. I have enough ideas for the company.
exactly, exactly. Which is why Tom, the fact that Shiv kind of talked up Tom to being that character and it backfire
Yeah,
was crazy.
yeah.
It's like, yo, she really laid it up for him.
But
And
at the end of the day, like Shiv always was trying to. She's on their team. You know what I mean? So it makes sense. Like, okay, who else on the team do you think would be good? She's going
mhm,
against her brothers. Like, so it's just
yeah,
kind of like at the last minute, Matson was like, okay, I like the roster. You know, you've been a great GM and everything, but I never said you were going to be the general manager. You're out. This guy's in, and now we're
yeah.
on our way to a championship. Like, and she's like, what? And I'm like, bro, you're going against
That's
your own
because
squad.
yeah,
Like, why are
because
you doing this?
that's the one thing that like makes this show good is because all these promises are just words to get broken eventually.
True, true.
And everybody takes like, are you a man of your word type thing. And that's so pivotal in this thing because, you know, if they were to get it down in writing and like do all the paperwork or whatever that you would, technically want, it would be probably like a law breaking circus or whatever. Cause that's like, probably like insider training or whatever SEC investigation that would actually happen of like her backstabbing her brothers to get this. So she's doing all this on a whim of like, yo, if I put in enough work, I'm gonna get rewarded.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's
You
just
know?
trying to stay CEO when Logan said, all y'all are not worthy enough to be the
Yeah.
successor. But in their mind, they believe they can run it.
Right.
And Shiv's way was someone else will buy it and I'll be CEO.
Hmm.
I'm because she couldn't figure out a way to do it on Team Family.
Yeah.
And Kendall was just so caught up that, I'm the one that should have been the whole time.
Yeah, I could understand.
Yeah.
But it was like it was the fact that they decided and Shiv like was like when the day came,
Yeah.
Shiv was like, I can't do it. I can't do it in good conscience. You know? Like
Exactly.
she really had to take a step back and just be like, bro, like, you can't do this. And then the whole like you killed somebody
Yeah.
part came up. I was like, yo, oh, it's done. They're done. They had completely broken down, and this is it, because they had the votes, 7-6. It would have been over. And it's just like it was also cool that like the estate stuff was happening the same day that the Gojo deal was, because it was like, everybody was putting their claim on things like with the little stickers and stuff
Hmm.
like that, and then they go make the Roman goes to sign the paper. Everybody's congratulating Tom, and then we get Greg pulling up, and he's like, "Hey, am I still in? Like, let me know." And Tom's just like, I got you. But in a way that's still like, dang, you still bet against the wrong horse, but I like the way you played it, and you've done a lot to get us here, type thing. That's why I feel like Tom and Greg is still my favorite duo out of everybody that we done seen in this show. And it was poetic, bruh. It was poetic that it still happens because, like, granted, the show is over and the season is over, but depending on how everybody kind of plays it, you know, Shiv is going to be the best, I guess, wingman to like understanding Madsen and possibly uh helping Tom to really, continue the legacy with their kid and starting something else.
I
And
mean,
then
I don't,
you don't
I did
know?
not view it that way.
You don't
I
see
just
it
don't,
like that?
I did not at all. I'm like,
Mm,
I really believe Shiv just didn't believe it should be Kendall. Like, it's just kind of like every single season, even when the kids are united, they're really not.
yeah.
And it goes back to, for me, why why Logan didn't think any of them deserved the company.
Mm,
Why he wanted to sell it all off.
yeah.
Like it just makes the most sense. And I just view like that very end scene with Tom. Like Tom always said, like, what about me? Like, where's my picture on being the CEO? Like the entire series. And Shiv was like, oh yeah, no, I don't know. Like she was so mad when she discovered that it was Tom because she knew
Yeah.
if I'm out, it's gonna be someone. Just doesn't make sense. Who? And then as soon as it was discovered, she was like, "Wow, what the heck?" Like,
Mm,
I'm gonna just go with Kendall. I'm just gonna go with the family, and we're gonna keep it. But
yeah.
deep down, she's like, "It cannot be Kendall." Like, and the whole time, I mean, I was like, "Why would it be Kendall?" Like,
Yeah, exactly.
watching them come to grips and saying, "Let's go with Kendall." I'm like, this dude is literally the worst dude, and he did not even change for the better. And
Yeah.
it's just like a cycle again. He gets in trouble. He gets a little better. Wants to focus on. Then he gets that little power trip, and then
Hmm.
it doesn't go his way. I don't know what to do. Oh my gosh!
I
And
mean, what do you think it comes down to, like just them in their identity? Of like them not really knowing who they are. Like I feel like Shiv knew who she was prior
no, it's
to the
just their
show
faults.
starting.
It's like none of them are sharks, like Logan said, and Shiv is too emotional with her on who it should be. She can't just take her emotions out of the situation. and then what's his name, Kendall. Kendall literally just say anything to get what he wants.
Yeah,
Like it
that's
doesn't even
facts.
matter. Like he literally inflated the numbers during the uh
Election part. It was like the
presentation and stuff like that.
yeah.
And even the election, bro. Even the election.
Hmm.
Uh, the other guy,
Roman.
gosh, Roman doesn't even care about the actual results at all. He's like, you know what? It's fine because none of this matters. Like anything we do doesn't matter. I do not care whatsoever. It's just like all of them. I think their dad really had them pegged that. I know you guys all want to do it, but all of you would be bad at this. So what can we do best for the family? Cash out. It
Yeah,
and
yeah. I
Roman
agree with
said
that
that.
part. I agree with that part.
Roman
Yeah,
said everything's BS. Like the whole
yeah.
company's BS. All this stuff is BS. And
Hmm.
even that's how Roman thought about the election. It's BS. It doesn't matter who, because they pretty much elected a like a fascist person, and Roman
Yeah.
just doesn't care at all about the things. So it's just kind of
Well,
like,
they did that so that he could block the deal. It wasn't so much that it was
yeah,
that he was a fascist or whatever. It was more so like, okay, he's on our side or whatever. Like he,
they didn't
if
care about what he would do to the country.
exactly,
Like
exactly, yeah,
it was just like, it's fine.
yeah, because you gotta think of like who raised them. You know, like we can say
Yeah.
that Logan knew that they all weren't ready for the position or whatever,
Mhm.
but you know, um, like Kendall is just mentally somewhere else. Like he's not it. Shiv ran away initially to politics,
I mean, she
which
didn't
is
even. Yeah, she's not even part of the company, bro, and she wants to
yeah.
run the company.
I know. That was her biggest thing. And then even when she wanted to get in, she couldn't get in at a position that made sense to
Mhm.
like like the whole Shiv's whole issue was timing. You know what I'm saying? Like she put her all her time into a different area of like interest where, you know, she could have definitely been like the Swiss Army knife of like the family of, you know, having politicians and everybody else in their bag as far as like who they need to push to, you know, get stuff done at ATN or in the whole company. But, you know, Kendall was always by Logan's side and really, you know, there because like I'm the first boy. You know, he said that in the thing. And Roman, nobody ever expected anything out of Roman. So he kind of just
Yeah.
played into that, you know, whole thing. And Logan, like you said, I don't think ever wanted to give the company to anybody. Like it didn't matter if it
Mhm.
was his kids or whoever. Um, and even though it went down the way that it did, it comes down to like, you know, we haven't really talked about Connor. Connor is still like a whole other thing of
Yeah.
being like the first son, but not the son, you know, which is a whole other mind thing that is crazy to me of like how they treat Connor
Mhm.
throughout this season, him getting married and all this other stuff. Like Connor's the only one that really came up because he got the
Mhm.
house. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like they all poor now. They rich, so it don't really. There's no really
Yeah.
mixed
Exactly.
feelings as far as like, you know, who really lost and who really won. It's more so just like how they played it, you
Mhm.
know. And I feel like the only person I kind of respect in this whole joint is still Shiv.
Really, that's
Yes,
shocking.
it's
That's
Shiv
shocking.
because Shiv went out on her own terms. She took her power and was like, "Yo, it came down to me." That's why I was like, when it came down to Shiv at the end, I was like, "Oh, she's not gonna do it. She's not gonna do it." Initially, I thought Roman was gonna crack, but once he didn't crack, and it was just her,
Yeah.
and that was the vote. I was like, "Oh yeah, this is it. This is the moment," you know.
Yeah,
And
I thought Roman would crack because the previous vote,
mhm,
when it with the dad,
yeah,
he couldn't do it.
Kendall couldn't wasn't there.
Yeah, Kendall wasn't there, so Roman was getting pressured, and he just
Mm-hmm.
couldn't just say, "Dad, you're out."
Yeah.
Like he couldn't take it.
Yeah.
So I thought this would be like a flip, and he'd be
Mm-hmm.
like, "You know what, Kendall? Nah." You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna speak up for myself this time. Nah, brother, it's not you.
Yeah. And it's like, how do you like? There's no other way to choose anybody else. Because for me, I thought it was gonna be Greg. I wanted it to be Greg, some way, shape or form. Like
Um,
the fact that
I
it was Tom
Yeah, I had it as
on
Tom a long time ago, but the only reason why I had it is because I just thought
he made
he's
that
the
play.
only one that's out there. And
Yeah.
then when I think it was season 2 when he took the fall, I thought
Yeah.
Logan was gonna have some secret thing that wrote down, uh, it's
Because he
Tom
said
is
it.
gonna
He told him,
yeah
he's like, I got you. Like, don't even trip.
yeah,
I
and
got you.
and I just thought, you know what? He's the only one that makes sense because this whole series keeps showing how bad the three siblings are,
Hmm.
like how pretty much they're not fit the entire time.
Yeah.
And I was like, why is Tom always shown working? Why is Tom always
Hmm.
showed work like
Working with
at
others,
Congress?
making
Yeah,
moves, running the play,
election night.
all that.
And
Yeah.
and one thing about Tom that I should have put one and one together on election night when they said that oh, Tom was like one of the main people in this decision to announce it early,
Yeah.
and then everyone they talk to they clearly show it. I should have
Hmm.
linked that to the president would probably like him.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the president doesn't really know Tom, but he knows like
Is
somehow
he?
that dude had my
He
back.
wasn't even the president yet, though.
Yeah, not the president yet, but
No, I'm saying
because
like
he
even like the vote never got finished.
yeah,
You know
you're
what I'm
right.
saying? Like what's name was announced, but the
Yeah,
other three conglomerates or whatever that they was talking about in the news announced the
that
other person. But
they're
because
still
18 is
waiting.
so big,
Hmm.
the people are still going to run with the what you call guy. So like that probably wouldn't have got sorted for another few
Yeah, a
months.
few
But
months.
I agree with you in the sense of like they continue to show Tom, building Tom up to be this leader, and um I was just like I was here for because I was gonna say was it was clear that Tom would be the person uh, on Matt's side, but on the other side, it would be Greg
It's just
because
Greg was too
Greg,
low, flew on the totem pole. I just couldn't
yeah,
imagine it.
yeah, but it was more so like the way everybody was hyping up the finale or whatever was like they compared Greg to Bran from Game of Thrones because it was so like I thought that they was like I think the tweet was like HBO fooled us before, but they won't do it again. Greg is going to be CEO by the end of this. So
Mhm.
that's kind of where my mind was like waiting to see like how are they going to make that happen. But for it to be Tom definitely makes sense. And then um for like, you know, you made a good point of like always seeing Tom in the thick of it and not even coming to the funeral, stuff like that because of the aftermath essentially. Go
Yep.
ahead.
And even like one of the big scenes in season 1 was when Kendall tried to recruit Tom, and Tom sat there and said, "I've never, uh, I've never seen your dad get wrecked. He didn't use wrecked. I never seen your dad get wrecked, but uh, I've seen you get wrecked all the time.
Yeah.
I've never seen Logan get wrecked once."
Hmm.
And then he walked back into the car, and it was like,
Yeah.
"Bro, Kendall, you keep saying all this stuff like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna take this, or
Hmm.
oh, I can do it."
Yeah.
And then Tom is like, "No, I've
Those are just
seen
words.
someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen someone who will do exactly what they say, and that's your
Yeah.
dad.
Yeah.
Like, you want to
Yeah.
be like him, but
You're not.
you're not him. So I know you're trying to recruit me.
Yeah.
I'm staying on the winning team."
Yeah.
Like,
And
so
like
a lot of
if you
stuff in Tom did makes a lot of sense.
yeah. And if we're looking back in season 1, this has always been the play.
Mm.
Because Shiv never really wanted anything to do initially with the business.
Yeah, and
She was trying to work Tom all the way up to where he could do it from, and it be Logan's decision more
be
so like
Logan's decision.
they weren't expecting him to die so soon and this to be the thing. So when opportunity presented itself to her, she was like, I mean, shoot,
Yeah.
I'm doing all this stuff anyway. Like I'd be perfect to do it, and
Yeah. And she
and
tried to slide herself over Tom's
yeah,
role, but throughout the whole series, Tom was like, "Well, where do I fit in this?" And she
yeah,
was like, "Oh yeah, sure, but because Tom's the one who's been working up this ladder,
hmm,
and of course he is like married into the family technically,
yeah,
but the fact that Shiv was like, "Oh well, there's a chance for me to be CEO. Let me
hmm,
wiggle. Oh yeah, Tom, you'll be there. You'll be, we'll
yeah.
do it
We'll
somehow."
figure it out. Yeah,
So your theory on maybe at the end she came to her senses and said,
yeah,
"Okay, there's no winning for us.
yeah,
Kendall can't be CEO.
hmm,
I'ma just give up the goodies to my other family."
yeah,
And of course, she's still taking an L, but
hmm,
it's more of I will take the L of I'll never be CEO,
yeah.
but I'll still be in
In
a
the mix.
position of power. No job.
Mm, yeah,
She's still back to normal Shiv season one, but essentially Tom is now CEO,
yeah,
and she still has something. Like,
yeah. Tom is CEO, but not the one in charge. Like
yeah, sure.
Tom definitely um is
Which
running
any of them would have
things.
took.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like that was her initial pitch to Madsen, would be for her to
Exactly.
be the US representative, because that's the only way that they could get the deal from being blocked. Um so
Yeah, just
if
to
they can't
smooth it
have it
over.
outright, this is like, because I kind of look at it how like you play Monopoly or whatever, like, and sometimes you got to take risks in the deals that you make. Um, that like even if this doesn't work out for me, at least I did something rather than letting things go in the direction where I know this not going to work.
Which is
You know?
Kendall. Like,
Yeah,
and and
exactly.
even because the board, because think about it, the kids own the company technically,
Yeah.
but the board even believes the Gojo deal is good.
Hmm.
It's a good deal. It's a high price, and it's bringing in fresh stuff, fresh ideas.
Yeah.
And we have to move off from Logan to someone else. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And because Logan didn't name these dudes a successor like
Yeah.
immediately, it makes it a little shaky where we can't
Hmm.
even trust that this leadership is good with the kids if their
Right.
own father can't pick them.
It was so interesting seeing how like they were kind of convincing themselves and trying to convince each other of like who dad wanted to run the company on the beach, when they were on the beach, because it was like, yeah, dad told me when I was 7. When I was
Yeah.
7, Rome, like who does that to a kid that's not supposed to be him?
Hmm.
Shiv was like, promised it to me too. Roman was like, he promised it to me in the end and stuff like that. So like, um, words are always just words of like, I'll say whatever I need to say to get you what I need you to do.
Hmm.
But, the only person that was always in total control at the end of the day was Logan. That was
Yeah.
it. Everybody else is kind of doing it in hopes that it works out,
Hmm.
you know? So it shows good, man. And even the old dudes, from Carl and Frank, was like, hey, you want to go on another run? This kid Mike can do it, It's
I think
like,
Tom was like, "Yeah, those two are out."
yeah, yeah. They got their golden parachute, and they'll be good to go. But I was just geeked the fact that they was like, hey, we could run it back. We could really do it if they keep us, type thing.
Yeah. And
Um,
Jerry survived after getting fired like twice.
I
They're gonna
know,
bring Jerry back. I was like, yeah, this is crazy.
yeah, but it's only the people that were straightforward in their thinking, because like, you know, Jerry, Jerry played things close to her chest for sure, but she never really lied to anybody.
Hmm.
Versus like Carl, who was just saying anything to get his payday, and eventually
Was it Carl
told
or
Kendall.
Frank the one that only cared about Logan? Was it Carl?
Carl is the one that Carl is the one that
The ex
told
CFO?
Kendall. Nah, CFO was the the chair was Frank. The chairman was Frank.
Frank. So Frank's the one who came back.
Frank got
A little
fired
bit.
and then came back. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right,
Yeah.
I'm following.
And then Carl was always there, but was in like a lower position of like, yeah, he has pull, but he only really care about the,
Yeah.
you know, like he doesn't really buy into, like he'll say what he needs to say in the moment, but when Kendall was like, you know, running things and trying to, you know, inflate the numbers and all this stuff, and it like technically was on his side, Carl was like, I don't buy it. Like, you can do all this stuff that you want, but you're not your dad. So it was a cool thing. But I mean, let's see, what else could we say about this thing?
No, I really like your theory that potentially did Shiv make the play based on, did she knew she had the final, it was going to come down to her vote and that she would be the ultimate decider, and she went against Kendall. Because at the end of the day, I knew in the beginning of the episode, you know, she wanted to sell. She wanted it to sell to Mattson.
Yeah.
But the main motive was because she'd be CEO, and with that strip taken from her, is her motive still to sell now, knowing that it's Tom?
Right.
Like, could she have voted differently if it wasn't Tom? That's interesting. I'll probably have to rewatch the episode, really see how the events fold again. But it's an interesting theory.
And even like if they, you know, went in a different order of how they laid off votes or said their votes, you know?
I think they needed another scene, because what you're saying is a possibility for sure. But that scene of them eating together and Fit for a King, what was it?
Yeah. Crown for a King or something like that.
And like, it just seemed like, why would she flip the next day?
Yeah.
Like, I knew she deep down had that in her back pocket that, oh, you killed someone, but it was like,
I forgot. I ain't gonna cap. I forgot until then. I was like, oh, he did. I was like, yo. And then when you started playing it off, I was like, oh, well,
and
bro,
Shiv
saw it.
Shiv is a more moral person, and that's why I said, like, one of her faults is she's too emotional about all the stuff that like, even when Logan was sitting at the dinner table and she just had to be like, oh my god, you didn't tell them it's me? Oh yeah, it's me. Yeah, you can tell them, it's fine.
Yeah. I was like, yo, you folding yourself right now.
Yeah, it's like you're folding yourself.
Yeah. Because she just wanted that. She wanted that validation, like, be able to say it in their face. Like when she was gloating to Kendall, when they first got to their mom's house, when they went to go pick up Roman, she was rubbing it in their face, like she was grinning from cheek to cheek. And when she found out like that it wasn't true, and I'm like, yo, like how are you not prepared for that the answer? Because it's not like you got it in like
experience.
Written down, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, not written down. And even like, I'm surprised Kendall didn't bring up the that piece of paper or whatever that said that it was supposed to be him, but he was crossed out or whatever. Like, he didn't say that in the end. But yeah, I really think it does come down to like, Shiv said, okay, if we're gonna go out, I'm going out on my own terms, and I'm gonna make sure that not only do I get the payday, but my child will also have the opportunity that maybe I never had. And we finna really, that's why they held hands, but they weren't like united. You know what I'm saying? In the end, it was more of a like, dang, let's do it. I mean, and Tom was the one who put his hand out, which is a key thing. She wasn't the first one. She got in that car. She was hot. She was mad, you know? But she was like,
it's like those 2 days. Like,
yeah.
And I kind of wish there was one more scene, but maybe I just need to rewatch the because it was
I wish we had a whole I wish we had a whole aftermath of like, where are they now type thing.
I mean, I kind of like these endings.
Yeah.
And like you said, it has this dark meaning to it, but it's just that cycle of everything goes good, it's going good, and then somehow they mess up their own deal.
Yeah.
And deep down, when I watched it, I'm like, she wants CEO. She's not gonna get CEO, so she
Mhm.
messes up the deal anyway,
Yeah.
or lets the deal go through anyway, so her family gets ruined. But in a way, like you're saying, technically she has what Roman said is like she's technically the bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
So if Tom is CEO, technically her kid may always have the opportunity to become CEO of
Yep.
the pretty much company that
Mm-hmm.
her father started. Even
Yep.
though it's now owned by Matson, and
Mm-hmm.
it could be called,
Whatever.
I don't know, Gojo
Gojo.
Goody in the future.
Gojo Global.
Yeah, Gojo Global in the future.
Yeah.
Like if Tom steps down, I mean, there's is always like what you're saying,
Yeah.
a potential that he is the actual
Mm-hmm.
um successor
That's
to.
why the show is called Succession, not Successor. You know, because they like
Dropping gems
it's
there,
not.
G.
I mean,
Is
yeah,
it, is that
hey,
something Twitter
hey.
already had or something?
Nah, that's just off the dome. You feel me?
Okay.
But yeah, like it's not so much about who gets the job. It's about just seeing that process and what it could look like from all these different angles, you know. And I really feel like we didn't even really talk about how it was shot. I really feel like the way they decided to shoot this show really was able to bring that impact of like making you feel it, you know, because it's not like it's just a whole bunch of talking heads at the end of the day, but the little zoom ins and the music and the that theme song that always plays when you know it's like dang, like they just dropped a bomb, you
Yeah.
know. Kendall
This
walking out
stuff
to the
always
water.
has iconic music. It's so crazy.
Yeah, yeah. And like you said, like even the ending, like I don't get me wrong, I like the ending for sure. I
Yeah,
like the
I
ending
like it too.
because it just leaves it out there for you, and it's just like take it how you will type thing. Um, so it was freaking good, bro.
Yeah.
It was freaking good. 10 out of 10, man.
Yeah, I think we nailed the final episode. I mean,
Yeah,
uh, yeah, I'm
I was.
definitely down to hear what people think about what G's talking about. So in the comment section below, for sure.
Yeah, I was a little
Let us know
worried
how
though.
you viewed the ending.
In the beginning of the season, I was like, dang, he died so fast. I was like, but they spanned it that last week for a really long time. So, you know, they definitely did a good ending. But yeah, definitely let us know in the comment section what y'all thought of the series and the finale in general. Whose team were you on?
I'm the
And
eldest boy.
that was crazy.
Craziest line I've ever heard.
And then he tried to crush my man's skull.
Yeah.
Like that was crazy to me. Like I really thought he was gonna do some damage or something, but I was like, he's not that strong. I've been watching too much anime. But even like that the fight where he went after Shiv, I'm like, yo, this man is losing it.
Yeah.
It's like she's freaking pregnant, bro. What are you doing? Like,
It's so believable. Like,
yeah,
there's zero doubt that he'd have a
yeah,
mental breakdown. So
yeah. And he got bodies too.
he walked back in
Crazy.
there and was like, "Oh, so where are we at? I think we should all postpone." I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this guy, get him out of here."
The good thing that dude was walking with him,
Yeah,
cause like, you know.
yeah, he definitely took a dip after the credits rolled. Not
I ain't
gonna
gonna say that. I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna say that.
Oh man.
But it's like, bro, now you have all the opportunity in the world to do whatever you
They
want
don't
to
view
do.
it that way.
I know they
view it that
don't.
way.
They don't. But that's how I would view it, and that's why they not a shark, bro. Because the shark just keeps going, you know, and they just stalled out. But you got anything else for Succession, man? Glad you caught up, man. Because Chris started the show when season 4 basically came out.
Yeah,
And you caught
like
up
this
pretty
year.
fast. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad I got to watch the finale live. I always feel like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even watching movies in theaters are better.
Yeah.
Watching the finale at the time it dropped, it felt better too.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, oh wow, we're capping this off. We're capping this moment
Yeah.
in life off. So it was a very good show. I like it a lot. I probably give it a 9 out of 10. But
Mhm.
I do, in my opinion, I do think it is a perfect finale, and
Yeah.
more shows need to make sure their finale is well worth it, has all the emotions,
Mhm.
and end on a great impact.
Yeah.
So,
For sure. So, Chris, what you geeked about, man?
man, I got so many movies to watch because we're coming down to it. You know, it's been more difficult for me to see movies nowadays, but I'm super hyped for this Spidey Man. Um,
Mhm.
it's comes out this weekend, right?
Yep.
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 So I remember watching the first Spider Man, Into the
Across the
Spider
Spider
Verse,
Verse. Well, yeah,
across.
that first one's Into the Spider Verse. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, when I watched Into the Spider Verse, it was already out a week or so, and I just randomly went to the movies. Like, all right, let me see this animated Spider Man. I was
Mhm.
so blown away, and I
Yeah.
thought it was one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So I'm just very hyped for this one because now I see it coming. I've been
Mhm.
waiting for it, and I just don't think I think it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
And you know when you expect greatness, you know, it may like knock you down or not hit your expectations.
Yeah.
But I just don't believe. I think it's gonna do it. I think it's
Yeah.
gonna be really good. I can't wait. So I'm gonna do whatever I can this weekend to get into the theaters and go see it. So what you
Okay.
geeked about, G?
Okay. So I'm geeked about Spider Man. I saw Little Mermaid this weekend. That joint was great. Had one of the worst movie experiences of my life though. Those last few times been bad. Fast X was Feet Man. This time was the Chatty Patties. James was
Daddy
talking.
Patties.
It was talking the whole movie, bro. It was bad. It was bad, but the movie was still good. Soundtrack go crazy. Um, and then as far as this week, man, um, other than just like the movies that are coming out, I'm excited. I'm excited for Demon Slayer. Uh, that episode that came out this week was really good. And then finally, Vinland Saga, bro. Vinland Saga is a slept on anime. I really feel like probably because it's on Netflix, and that's the main place you could go see it, and that the fact that this season is so drastically different than the previous one. Um, but the story is so good, it's so good. So I'm excited to see how that ends, and yeah, the gaming grind is coming back. Street Fighter 6 drops this week, and for Chris Diablo 4 drops this week, and we finna go crazy. Finna go
Yeah,
crazy.
come see us on Twitch.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And possibly, I'm throwing this out in the air right now. You know, me and Chris talked about it a little bit. These shows might start going live too. So if you want to join the show when it's actually happening, definitely tune into our Twitch channel, uh, ChrisyLite and Ginato Reviews on there. But other than that, that's all I got. And we're going to head up out of here, man. Make sure y'all hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed. Leave a comment, rate the podcast 5 stars, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button on YouTube, and we'll holler at y'all next week, man. Stay geeked. Peace.
Later, y'all.